Hey guys, Sam Stein here, managing editor at the Bulwark. It's 5:45 Eastern on a Friday, coming to the end of the work week of the second week of the Trump administration. I say work week because apparently we have tariffs coming in place tomorrow, so things are going to get chaotic. I just want to talk briefly about how this week has been and how it's ending. It's been chaotic, obviously, but it's ending on a particularly sort of ominous note, at least for people who are in and around the government and depend on the government. This afternoon, throughout the afternoon, I have been hearing from a lot of sources who are in the scientific community that were really, frankly, really worried about what they thought was going to be a purging of information from government websites. Basically, rumor was rampant that the Trump administration was going to take down tons of information from the CDC website, that's the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and potentially from the NIH website, the National Institutes of Health, for reasons that were not particularly clear, although it was surmised that they wanted to take down a lot of stuff to do a sufficient scrub of any references to DEI, which has been a real focus for the administration, so much so that they apparently may want to take websites down for it. Anyways, people have been kind of waiting on the edge of their seats for this. As of now, it doesn't look like a massive purge, but there have been sites from the CDC that have randomly begun disappearing, and it's not exactly clear why. Charles Ornstein over at Blue Sky, pretty well-regarded journalist, he's been monitoring this. He's looking at federal health websites that he says are beginning to be stripped of content or removed entirely. Among things that he's noticed is the CDC's Youth Risk Behavior Survey. It's gone. NIH Office of Research on Women's Health, gone. HIV surveillance system is gone. Not sure why. That seems like a useful one to keep up. Look, you can get more from Charles on Stat News. He's keeping track of it all there. But in general, there seems to be a kind of unexplicable or unexplained decision to go after some of these websites for reasons unclear. And while we even were recording this, it was flagged to me that if you go to census.gov, that's the website for the census, which keeps track of our population. That's down. Not everything is down, but the main page is down. You can still, as of now, access some of the data, but you can't go to the main page. Again, it's hard to know if this is like a technical glitch, but it seems, based on the fact that they're scrubbing a lot of stuff, that something is happening here. And it gets to the larger predicament, which is everyone is just kind of trying to figure out what the hell is going on. There was other reports from Jennifer Jacobs, who's now at CBS, that the Trump officials were going to put a pause on what she says was most federal government websites. She said they are expected to go dark at 5 p.m. Obviously, that's not yet the case. We'll see and keep monitoring it. But look, I think it gets to kind of this larger issue, which is there is mass confusion throughout the government, throughout Washington, D.C., throughout nonprofits, NGOs that do depend on the government, that rely on the government, among scientists who depend on the government and turn to it for research. There is a sense of instability at all facets of the government right now. And maybe that's the point, right? Like maybe that's what they're trying to do. There's just a few other examples I'll show you. On Friday afternoon, that's this afternoon, it was reported that the USDA has begun scrubbing references to climate change from its website. Reuters is reporting that Elon Musk's aides are locking government employees out of agency computer systems. Multiple outlets are reporting that there could be a purge soon at the FBI. Any agent who worked on the Jack Smith investigations into Donald Trump's conduct on January 6th and his retention of classified documents, they may be gone. The FBI's, the people who represent FBI agents, the FBI Agents Association has complained bitterly about that. But, that's that. Trump himself was kind of asked about this afternoon. He was talked about the federal workforce and this efforts to kind of chisel it down dramatically. They've been sending these fork in the road emails from OPM, basically encouraging federal workers to take a buyout. Trump was asked about it, and he said this.
With efforts to reduce the federal workforce, whether it's offering what we've called the buyout package or other efforts, do you have any concerns that there will be employees broadly across the federal government who might take that up? And they're a part of the many different ways that agencies protect the public, from food inspections to water safety to the air traffic
everybody's
controls.
replaceable, and we'll get very good people to replace them if it turns out to be more than we thought. It could be a lot, it could be a little, we don't know, but we'd love to have them leave. We're trying to remember this. We want them to go into the private sector. It's our dream to have everybody almost working in the private sector, not in the public sector.
So yeah, that's him saying everybody is replaceable, and that's how they feel. It's created this very, I would say, toxic, paranoid work environment among federal workers who I talk to, at least. But it's also kind of galvanized them in a weird way. They have congregated over at this subreddit, and they all seem to be deeply committed, or at least many of them seem to be deeply committed to the idea that they're just going to wait this out. They will not take the buyout. They don't trust that Trump or Elon Musk will be good for it. They basically are like, I'm going to just grin and bear it for 4 years. We'll see. I mean, it's a lot to ask. It's a really difficult time, and I'm sure they're staring down the prospects of an incredibly difficult 4 years where your own government wants you to go. I can't imagine being in that situation. But then there's the flip side, the real world side, which is, what does this mean when you take data, important data, offline? What does it mean when you hollow out agencies, purge them of workers? The short of it is that maybe you save money. Certainly that's what they want to do, but you also denigrate and harm government services. You're going to see people not being able to access critical information they need. You're going to see people who work in every facet of our lives, the Social Security Administration, the Department of Agriculture, food inspectors, so on and so forth. When they have fewer staff, the work becomes harder. Doesn't get as done as well. We see the need for federal workers across the government right now. Imagine if 10, 15% of them are gone. And there are reports that suggest the Trump administration knows that that's going to happen. For instance, a report this afternoon was that the ICE agents, or the workers at ICE, I should say, some of them did try to take advantage of this buyout that Elon Musk was proposing. And it was quickly relayed to them that, in fact, ICE was not part of this buyout program because they want more ICE agents. So we're going to up our ICE agents, but we're going to axe everything else. Difficult times, like really difficult times for people in the federal government, and for people who rely on the federal government. I will have a written piece coming out about all this in the next day or two. But what stands out to me when I talk to folks is just how secretive everything is. They are looking for guidance from the administration, from the White House, about why they are doing the things they're doing, when they can expect to see government resources back online, when they can expect to see the grant money that they're dependent on back and flowing. But they can't get in touch with anyone. The agency heads have either been pushed out, or they've been replaced or demoted, and it's really hard for them. So if you're in, for instance, biomedical research or science right now, you spent the afternoon scrambling to download data from the CDC because you heard it might be taken off the site. You're dependent on that data, and you don't know why it's being taken off the site and if it'll ever get back on the site. It seems like a weird place to put our scientists. It seems kind of unnecessary. But, we'll see if the White House offers some sort of explanation. I doubt they will. I'm going to leave this video by doing something I haven't done before, which is ask you, if you're watching this and you have any information on any of this stuff, if you're interacting with the government, if you see government documents, if you have any insights, hit us up. My email address is stein@thebulwark.com. stein@thebulwark.com. Feel free to hit me up. Don't spam me, Please make it real. But I will do my best to get in touch with you. And if it's secretive, I am happy to go on Signal. I'm not going to give you that number yet, but you can hit me up on email and I will give you my signal. Until then, please subscribe to our feed, watch these videos. Let's stay in touch, and thank you for listening.